Just a disclaimer before we start the show. Red Pill News is not responsible for the views, actions, or opinions of its guests or advertisers. An appearance on RPN is not to be considered an endorsement, and information contained herein is not to be construed as medical or legal advice. The viewers of Red Pill News are encouraged to do their own research and use discernment, but at the same time, have fun, guys. All right, good evening, everyone. You are listening to Red Pill 78. I am the corruption detector, and this is your Red Pill News for Friday night live stream. Hope that everyone has had a lovely day. We've got Craig Mason in the house, old Craig, and I hope you guys are ready for a stimulating and reasonable conversation. Please, everyone, do sit back, relax, grab your popcorn, and we'll be right back after a brief word from our sponsor. A famous movie villain once said, "Introduce a little anarchy, upset the established order, and everything becomes chaos." Well, rarely in history have truer words been spoken, and history has demonstrated this repeatedly, whether it's a stock market crash, a tea attack, the power goes off longer than you've expected. All of these things happen without warning, and when it's breaking news, it's too late to prepare, and you're in a panicked scramble. Now, to avoid the chaos, there's a few things you should do, one in particular, but build an emergency food supply. I personally trust and use my Patriot Supply to do this for me and my family. Now, you can get started with a 2-week kit at their website, and this week you can save 40% off these food kits when you go to my special website, preparewithredpill78.com. These kits include breakfasts, lunches, and dinners that last up to 25 years in storage, and they arrive to your door with guaranteed 2-day delivery. Those who know what's coming are preparing today, and you should too. So go to preparewithredpill78.com and save 40% off right now. Once again, that's preparewithredpill78.com. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you support this channel. All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. And if you would be so kind, please like and share this broadcast. It will do a tremendous amount to help us break through the algos and get this information out to as many people as possible, whether you like, whether you share on your favorite social media platform or send it to your friends and loved ones in an email. Whatever the method, I certainly do appreciate it. So we've got lots of Patriots here in the audience already. I saw the Frankleys are in the audience. We've got people from Michigan, Australia, New Zealand. We saw some people from Louisville, Florida, Southern California. I saw the thumb of Michigan. Is that the Bad Axe area? So Minneapolis, even people from Prince's territory. All right, guys. Well, wherever you're from, whoever you are, whatever you do, I'm glad that you're here with us tonight because you're going to get to witness my good friend Craig Mason and his extremely reasonable conversation. Craig, how are you this evening?
I'm great. How are you, Red Pill?
I'm doing really good, buddy. Thank you for coming here and being with me tonight. Do appreciate it. Sounds like Simone just joined us in the studio. Can you hear her behind me?
Oh, yeah, I can hear it. I apologize in advance because it's very likely there'll be an interruption from a dog at some point.
Sure.
The coming time.
I can tell you that without a doubt, Muffin and Cisco will probably join in on the conversation as well. So, Craig, here we are, man. You know, another day, another set of awakenings. You know, we've got the impeachment trial happening right now. You know, what are you tracking in the news? I mean, what do you see as the most obviously important story out there?
Well, on a grand scale, the most important story, I think, is the Great Awakening, the takedown of centuries, millennia long, however you look at it, cabal that seemed like they could never be taken down. As for the short run, I think this impeachment trial, although I don't know about you, I found it quite boring. That was the word that kept going through my mind as I was trying to force myself to watch it. I had it on pretty much all day while I was doing other things and going about my normal business. And I just thought, wow, this is boring to listen to Adam Schiff and Adler and all these people. As is often said here, our favorite Anon said, "It won't be boring for long," or something to that effect.
I really liked that.
Yeah, I thought, oh, okay, great. I'm not crazy. This does actually seem boring now, because I thought, should this be exciting to me? Am I just not excitable enough? But it really seems like they are using this to set the stage. And I kept seeing polls come out over and over again, and it seems like the numbers are even going up a bit, but they were overwhelmingly in favor of having witnesses for this trial, both
Yes.
Democrat and Republican, more for Democrats. But you may recall over the weeks that were leading up to this, or months even, where they were saying, oh, we don't want witnesses, we do want witnesses. Trump was kind of going back and forth, and I think he was baiting people into saying, oh, no, Mr. President, you have to have witnesses. What are you trying to hide here? And I was looking, it seems like until today, it still seemed like that there wasn't going to be witnesses. But then, actually, so you retweeted this from Ted Cruz. He was saying, today they made a critical error. They made Hunter Biden relevant. They called Trump's asking for investigation into this alleged corruption as a sham, completely debunked. But Ted Cruz says there's a problem. There's very significant prima facie evidence of corruption by Joe Biden, Hunter Biden. He was being paid almost $1 million a year, had no background in oil and gas. At the same time, you've seen the tape, Joe Biden says, well, son of a bitch, we fired him if they, if they didn't fire him, it was working the $1 billion on its face.
Yes.
Clearly, that was not a perfect, that is perfect corruption right there. He said that unless they fired it, that he would be fired. Unless they fired it, he wouldn't get the $1 billion. And he said, Ted Cruz said they made it directly relevant by Schiff bringing this up and calling Trump out for that. And they need to have them. It would be totally reasonable to have some kind of situation where the White House lawyers can come in and have him testify. And I think they've really set the stage here for exactly that. I think people want witnesses. People see what a courtroom is set up, a court proceeding is set up to try and get down to the truth. And I think witnesses can only help in that regard, because who has things to hide? Which side has things to hide? I mean,
yeah.
It's pretty obvious at this point, especially if you're following from this perspective. But I think this stage has been set, and I think we'll get less boring, and people will have eyes on this when we really get this rolling. When however many hours Democrats have left, it seems like every single day they have 16 hours left. But whenever that ends, I think it's going to start to get interesting.
I too found it incredibly boring. I could not keep up with it. And it's not just that they were droning on and on, but they were saying many of the same arguments, things that they've been hammering over the last, several years. Stuff that we have already debunked. Talk about debunking. The Democrats and all of their points, everything that they've got against President Trump, it's a paper bag, okay? It's a straw man. There's absolutely nothing illegal that he's done. And the Republicans could very easily just dismiss it on its face and get it out of the public consciousness, and we wouldn't even have to worry about it anymore, because there is nothing illegal that the president did. But I do think that they are getting to the point they wanted the Democrats to bring this stuff up, to try to say that Trump did this or Trump did that. And I loved that video with Ted Cruz. I mean, Ted Cruz, I have gained so much respect for that man. President Trump hammered him during the 2016 election. And, I think that a lot of people saw Ted Cruz as this comical character, but now he's got this beard. He's out there stumping for the president. His whole demeanor has changed, and he's somebody that I think is going to have a very long and storied career in Washington, D.C. And I look forward to hearing from Ted Cruz, in the same way that I look forward to hearing from Jim Jordan and Mark Meadows, like all of these, big faces and loud voices in Washington, D.C. But what they've done is they've backed themselves into a corner. If this is something that we don't need to talk about, then why keep bringing it up? I think they've made it really obvious that they are very, very scared of having this stuff exposed to the American public. It's not about the impeachment of President Trump. It's about ensuring that the American public are never fully aware of the depth of their crimes. And with Joe Biden's statement, I mean, it's been mind-blowing to me that all this time, we have things that we must look into about President Trump, but you have Joe Biden claiming, on a global stage that he was responsible for the firing of this prosecutor, with the threat of withholding that $1 billion in aid. And you have the situation with President Trump where he didn't withhold the aid. It was withheld through the natural process that it was going to go through anyway. And President Trump has only ever talked about corruption and wanting to weed out that corruption. And like Ted Cruz said, it wasn't about Ukrainian corruption. It was about American corruption in a foreign country. And it was at the highest possible level because it was the vice president of the United States and it was his son. And now we have Rudy Giuliani, who's willing to finally start dropping the docks on all this stuff. I am very, very interested to see what Rudy starts putting out there because even if they don't actually bring any, witnesses before this trial where people, speak and have verbal testimony, the documentation is there. We have the paper trails, and that can be entered into the record. And that evidence right there, clearly, I believe, would suffice to open a proper investigation. But I think that the impeachment trial might be the way that they completely expose all of these Democratic crimes to the country.
Oh, yeah, I think that is exactly what they're doing. In fact, I have a post here from our favorite or not. It's post number 2937. I don't know the exact date. I have to cut off in the screenshot here, but that would be from a while ago. Mm-hmm. And it says, define stage set. Who recently walked on stage to take command? What stage experience did this person have? Think Bill Clinton impeachment. You may recall that a week or so ago, Ken Starr walked on stage to be part of Trump's legal team. So I think Bill Clinton, he was the special counsel investigating Bill Clinton back in the 90s. Mm-hmm. Says, has the stage been cleaned and cleared for the next performance? If the stage is clean, can the performance begin? Is that performance we're seeing right now with Ken Starr walking on stage, the impeachment performance, where, as you said, Rudy seems like he's finally ready to drop some details. In fact, in a tweet that I believe was pointed to in one of the drops, he had the word destroy in quotes about we need to destroy the Trump administration is what they said. Mm-hmm. I bet we'll see something like that saying we need to take him down, we need to destroy him. And he was alluded to the fact that what if there was some kind of assassination attempt on POTUS? Yeah. I mean, how bad can it really get? I think we've only seen the beginning. And one of the brilliant things about the plan is that I find this happening with myself too, is they expose these things over and over again, little by little, and that is how people learn. People don't learn by hearing a new fact and then marking it down in their brain. We are not computers. We learn by repeated spaced exposures. If you ask anybody who's in the sales or marketing business, they'll say, oh yeah, you got to tell someone 7 or 8 or 10 or 20 times before they actually start to respond to it. And that's what they've done with this plan. And I find myself going back, we had the drop yesterday with two FISA applications did not have the evidence necessary to be approved. And I have to go back and think, okay, so what happened here? And it's finally getting a big picture in place in my mind with what's actually going on. And so I think what is happening with impeachment is, he says, if the stage is clean, can the performance begin? I think it's time for the performance to begin. He goes on to say, how might transparency, D-class, fit into the dialogue? Well, if this is all coming out now, and this is going to totally, absolutely destroy once and for all the narrative that Trump is the orange man bad who is trying to destroy a nation for his own corrupt purposes, and we find out, of course, as they always do, they were projecting once again, then is it time for the D-class? He says, define thesis statement. What benefit does this provide Barr? I think it's setting the stage for the next stage, for when Durham brings out the indictments, which I think will be, I think Sarah Carter said a while ago that it will be a continuous drip of indictments. It won't just be one hammer drop. There'll be more and more and more and more. If the thesis statement of this is, hey, these people made this all up, it was totally on false pretenses, they were totally projecting, they made it all up, and the real corruption is on their side, and the American people see that, that really sets the stage for Durham and Barr to say, yeah, and also they're going to be prosecuted.
Yeah, absolutely. And we just had that post talking about the chain of command in terms of the D class, and asking, what is the benefit of not just coming out with it right away? Well, if we are starting at the beginning, with the information here that's going to be released in the impeachment trial, let's go back to when Biden was in office, okay, and start with those crimes. And then we can work our way towards, the point that we're at now. Think about the number of indictments and criminal acts that have taken place since then, all the way until now. Real quick, I do want to get your thoughts on that, but I need to do a couple of thank yous. We had some people join the channel. Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that. Michael Kenny said Red Pill Fractal. Craig, when we first started the show, I had my my little video capture of myself in the corner. So there was multiple. This out pretty quickly, multiple me's. Then Daniel Turgeon, thanks for that as well. Mike Vassell says, please comment on George News Anonymous Charity. I don't know what that is, but we can talk about it because you guys are going to call in the second half of the show. Alice Cersei, thank you for that. Guy Bedard, thank you for joining. Daniel Turgeon, I noticed a picture of Valiant Thor. He was wearing the same kind of ring as Salami and Oprah, and it was from decades ago. I think there's something to these rings that they wear. What do you say? I have seen that one picture of Valiant Thor, but I did not notice a ring. This is something that I definitely want to do an in-depth show on, so we can take a look at that. We can pull that up. Dana Finkler says, this is for Methods, love you, buddy, and hashtag thick ankle dog face t-shirts are coming soon. That is Dana's nom de plume for Hillary Clinton. Tammy Davenport, thank you for that. Michael Kenny says, I don't know about everyone else, but the saying the calm before the storm, from where I'm standing, I really think I am starting to feel some wind finally. Definitely hearing thunder in the distance, 17. And I have to agree with that. Craig and I were talking about that before the show. And then finally, Berserker Bear said, thanks, Red Pill and Craig. God bless. Thank you, Berserker Bear, and thank you to everybody who's here tonight. We've got 2,622 people watching. Please do, you guys, think about leaving a like and helping us out by sharing this on your favorite social media platform. Do appreciate the help. Do want to say hello to all of my mods and none other than my friend and partner in research, Methods, is here tonight. Methods, I just want to say how much I have missed you. It was probably the loneliest week that I've had since we started this journey together, so it's great to have you back, buddy. And then Kathleen Bikert, thank you for that sticker. So do you know anything about Valiant Thor, since that was something that was brought up in the Super Chats?
I know nothing about it.
Valiant Thor was purportedly a visitor from another planet who landed in Washington, D.C. He had a couple of other people with him, actually lived in the Pentagon, and there was some type of technology transfer or exchange. He looked like a human, and it's one of those kind of urban legends, It's like there is a photo that exists that's supposed to be him, but it's difficult to get sauce on because it's from the 1950s. So, it's a little bit removed from where we're at right now. But it's a fascinating story. It's definitely something I'm going to do a show on in the future. And then Dale Bercier, Simone, honey, go on, keep moving. Dale Bercier says, thick ankle dog face, I will not Arkansas. Yeah, definitely. How about Tulsi Gabbard's filing, her court filing, the $50 million lawsuit against HRC? Did you get to read any of that?
I didn't get to the details. I saw that she had was there a statement in there about how she's not at all suicidal, and if that happens, it's not because she was suicidal.
Yes.
Is that what I'm thinking of?
That was definitely it. I guess I'm not super surprised, but
I think it's a safe thing to do if you're suing Hillary Clinton. Yeah,
it's definitely a shocking thing. Oh, then Jake 985J, thank you very much. Oh, Jake had a question that I wanted to go over with you. Speaking about that state funeral post, the last one that came out, I saw a lot of people talking online saying that they saw certain things written in that in that post there on Wikipedia. So something about Jimmy Carter. I had my good friend Mr. W send me some information about that. I was actually going to pull that up to look through it. And then there were certain nods to our movement. There was a Where We Go One, We Go All. I think somebody said that at one time it said QAnon is not real. But you know, I mean, you're familiar with how Wikipedia works, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Can you explain that to people, why they might see things like that popping up and then disappearing?
Oh yeah, Wikipedia is essentially editable by anyone. I mean, they have some controls in place so it doesn't turn to total garbage, but it was kind of this strange internet experiment. I don't know if the DS had any part of it and they got people's trust with it, but it was this alleged strange internet experiment where they made this encyclopedia that turned into Wikipedia that anyone could edit. And there was a handful of researchers. I don't know if they had any ties. I don't know how far back this goes, because as you may know, Wikipedia seems quite controlled at this stage in the game. It could be one of those things where they started out nice, like Bitcoin, and then they take it over to be their own thing, and then they assume, people always assume it's good, which generally they do. But that could have been anybody editing it at the time, and you could have been there for a second, then it usually gets cleaned up shortly thereafter.
Yeah, definitely. I had a one of my clients from years ago, and there was a Wikipedia entry on him, and he wanted it cleaned up. So I very quickly learned that there are certain people who will be monitoring various posts, and they'll make sure that if there's some disinformation in there, like if you go in there and you change it, you back it up with sauce, you can prove that the information that was in it was a lie. They're not interested in posting the truth or the actual story. They're just interested in maintaining whatever that Wikipedia entry is at that time. Now, I saw my mom say that the Tulsi Gabbard thing was fake. It was a fake. It wasn't the actual portion of her filing. So even if it wasn't, I thought it was hilarious, and it's still a fun thing to think about. Also, Jake, thanks for joining. And then Syllabor says, love hearing Methods is here. Here's to your health. Love your videos and streams, Red Pill. Thank you very much for that. And then shout out, Dana says, shout out to Real Red Pill 78, Mom. Keep it up. Yes, Mom, big shout out. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. So with the information in that state funeral, I mean, one of the things that people latched onto right away was that section about Jimmy Carter. Did you look into that? I mean, Jimmy Carter is supposedly still alive, but it's very possible he could pass away at any day. I mean, he's in frail health. I mean, he's still out there building houses with Habitat for Humanity. God bless him. But there is, there wouldn't be too much surprise if Jimmy Carter passed away. He is a former president. He was at the funeral for Poppy Bush. As far as I know, he did not receive an envelope. I think that he looked a little miffed when he wasn't part of that crew, but...
You really missed out on that one. Yeah, Jimmy Carter, I didn't see the part of the Wikipedia entry, but I've heard a lot of talk of it. And yeah. I don't know if you saw a few days ago, I saw this, it was promoted, someone was paying for advertisement, but I think it went viral anyway. This Mr. Peanut account, it turned into the estate of Mr. Peanut. Have you heard of this?
Yes, I did hear a bit about it, yeah.
Okay, so I saw that before the state funeral thing dropped, and I thought, this is weird. And my first thought when I saw the picture, it's kind of a circle with like a monocle and a thing coming down, and there's a big teardrop. Kind of looks like a Q to me. Is the first thing I thought before I even saw the state funeral thing, and then it eventually clicked when I saw an anon talking about, oh, Mr. Peanut. Jimmy Carter was formerly a peanut farmer.
Exactly, yeah.
And the first thing that also struck me about the state funeral Wikipedia article is I didn't realize that state funerals are pretty much only for presidents. So I thought, oh, what presidents are still alive this could be? You've got BC, you've got Jimmy Carter, you've got younger Bush, who that's probably a different story. It seems like younger Bush could be cooperating at this point.
Yes.
But as far as Jimmy Carter, as you said, he's old. They probably would love a distraction. If it's going to kick into high gear with the Republican side in the Senate, Jimmy Carter strikes me as a guy who was a useful stooge for the DS. Mm-hmm. And if they, it said in the Mr. Peanut thing, it said he sacrificed himself to save his friends at a time in need, something to that effect. And I thought, are they going to make him sacrifice himself? I don't know. This is total speculation, but that seems like an oddball set of coincidences.
It definitely is. But I mean, that's something that really does seem too coincidental. I mean, Jimmy Carter was the peanut president. I mean, I believe he's from Georgia. He was a peanut farmer. So, the fact that was there, and then we have that nod to that state funeral thing with Jimmy Carter's arrangements in it, it does seem to me that it's very possible that Jimmy Carter could not be long for this world. I mean, as we saw with the Poppy funeral, it was something that took over the news cycle. They made sure that was all we saw. Now, my friend Mr. W said that he thinks that we should be looking at Prince Philip. Prince Philip is also somebody that I've heard a lot of chatter about, you know, potentially passing away. Now, I'm not familiar at all with the funeral process for the elites or for politicians in the UK. I don't know if they consider it a state funeral, but there's obviously a big connection between the city of London and everything that's happening over here. When President Trump went over to visit the UK several months ago and met with the Queen, she was deferential to him, clearly showed him a level of respect that I don't think she really shows to many people. But you know, we also had the news recently about Meghan Markle and Prince Harry. That was kind of a strange thing to pop up. You know, why would they need to bring themselves out into the news, you know, and to retreat from this public life? You know, I mean, unless maybe they're about to get Prince Andrewed or something like that.
Yeah, I think it's got to be something like that. I mean, all the strange things that have been happening with the royal family over the last weeks and months after Jeffrey went down, and it's just too strange for there not to be something going on. I mean, they are certainly tied in very much to this whole cabal at the very top, it seems. And I don't recall any time in my life where people were stepping down from positions like that or moving away from their duties of it. You had, was it Prince Andrew that was implicated in the JE situation, and that was obviously seemed like it was kind of a big deal. And then Meghan and Prince Harry stepping away, that also seems like a big deal out of nowhere. When it seemed like Meghan Markle, she was trying to do this big come up. She was an actress that kind of was B-list, and then she got her way into the royal family, and that's quite a come up. And then all of a sudden they're stepping back from what seemed like what they really wanted. I don't think she anticipated a change in the world order that is happening right now. And I think that probably is an unfortunate turn of events for her.
Yeah, I think you're right. This is the last thing that she thought was going to happen. And, I mean, talk about a strange matchup, too. I mean, Meghan Markle, as I understand it, was alleged to be, you know, as a B actress, she wasn't super famous. I heard that her and Harry met on a yacht. He was on some type of holiday. There's a certain caliber of actress in Hollywood that will work on yachts for, like, the rich and famous, you know, Saudi princes, UK royalty, that kind of thing. And you can make your own inferences about, you know, what that means. I've got a couple of ideas about it, and I've definitely heard a couple of things. Now, we also had another super chat. I needed to say thank you to Chris Hawkins. He says, we're definitely feeling the end of the calm and the winds of change ushering anew. Be ready with a loving heart. Our brothers and sisters are going to need us. Thank Jesus. Thank you very much for that. You know, this is a point that I made earlier. Another reason that I feel we're clearly in the end game is because I saw in the last week or so, or last 2 weeks, another ramp up in the types of attacks that we've seen at various points in this movement. You know, people attacking each other. People, instead of focusing their energy on positivity, on bringing this message to as many people as possible, people were attacking each other, you know, I mean, people doing vile things. And it seemed a little suspect to me to be happening at this time. You know, I mean, you look at these posts and you see the way that our favorite Anon talks. There's a mission, okay? There is a singular mission that we have been on. And the mission that some people think they are supposed to be on is to tear down anybody that they don't agree with, or, you know, I guess think that they're on a different side. But the way I see it is that we're fighting a common goal. We're fighting for a common goal, you know? I mean, this is our singular mission as well. So what I'm working towards, and I'd like to, you know, get your thoughts on this. What I'm working towards is the Great Awakening itself. You know, I mean, we're taking this word and this information, and we are trying to give it to people who have not yet digested it, who have not yet awakened. And that's why I always say, you know, be kind to people on Twitter, be kind to people on Facebook. You know, I mean, at some point, these people are going to wake up. And when they do, we need to be here for them. We need to be here to help them understand what's taken place and to not feel alienated. You know, I mean, if let's say we live next door to each other and I don't like the way you cut your grass, and I don't know, maybe your lawnmower's broken. Okay, so it looks nasty. And then one day I get like a brand new lawnmower, and you want to get information about how you can get a lawnmower to make your lawn look nice too, but you don't want to come approach me because I've been vile to you for the last 10 years that we've lived next door to each other. I mean, I guess that's a weird analogy, but I just came up with it on the spur of the moment. But the way that I see it is, you know, we have people that we are clearly working to unseat from the position of power that they've been in for, you know, hundreds of years. And it wastes time, wastes valuable time, effort, and energy when people start attacking each other. When people take this mission and they start veering off on another path.
Oh yeah, absolutely. And as far as what's going on with the emotions running high or people attacking each other, you know, Q says we are at war. And I think emotions run high when you get in battles, and whether it's shills, which we know exist, that are infiltrating and always trying to divide, or it's just people getting mad because they don't know what's going on, or they're missing something, or they're missing light of the rallying cry of this entire movement, which is where we go one, we go all. Mm-hmm. We are in this together. We are so much stronger than when we are together. I remember reading threads on forums and comment sections on the internet 5 or 10 years ago. It was so easy to divert the conversation from what was truly at stake, what the real point of conversation was. It was so easy back then. And now just the fact that we're having this conversation now about staying united, staying focused, staying kind to those people who don't understand, getting back to what really matters, which is uniting humanity and causing a great awakening, I think that speaks volumes that we're just having this conversation. Mm-hmm. Because these conversations pretty much weren't being had, and people didn't understand that people were constantly trying to avoid having this conversation, other conversations like it, to really see what's going on. As our favorite Anon has said many times, public awakening is their greatest fear. And I think that is the backbone, the bedrock of this movement, is that if we just stay laser focused on the goal at hand, which is the Great Awakening, where we go one, we go all, it is unstoppable. And I think this movement, when you see our favorite Anon post a Twitter link in one of the drops, and then it just blows up with tons of comments, tons of retweets, tons of likes, people saying, Q sent me, where we go one, we go all, it shows how strong this movement has become. I've been watching this for a while, and it just continues to grow and grow and grow. And I think we've also realized at the same time that it doesn't matter if someone thinks our favorite Anon is real or not. We are getting on the same page that humanity can get along. We don't need to be divided. And anyone that tries to distract from that, whether they are chill or they don't mean to, or they're confused, whatever the case is, we're going to be there. Everyone watching probably this right now is going to be there to say, hey, here's what's going on. Here's my thoughts on this. I'd like to help explain it to you. You'd like to see it. If you don't want to know right now, that's fine. We are laser focused on this mission. And when our favorite Anon says nothing can stop what's coming, I feel like this movement's reached a critical mass, not just in terms of size, but in terms of understanding of the necessary focus whenever someone tries to distract or change the subject or infiltrate or divide, to just go, hey, we're not messing with that. We're ignoring that. We're getting back on the mission of getting down to what is really going on here and trying to disseminate that information. And if you want to divide, okay, but that's not what this is about. So get on board or get on board later. But in any case, this is what we're doing. Enjoy the show. That's what it seems like is really going on. And I feel like that can't be stopped at this point.
Absolutely. 100%. You know, I mean, like the idea of where we go one, we go all is that cohesive group. And here's the thing, you know, that I think maybe some people don't understand, and I don't mean to be patronizing, but there are different personality types in this movement. You know, just because you maybe don't get along with somebody, or maybe, you know, you don't necessarily like the way that they say whatever it is that they're saying, you know, you don't have to hang out with that person. You know, you don't have to co-sign whatever it is that they're saying. But there's no need. It is completely unnecessary to be evil and to be a shill. It's very, very honest. Excuse me. It's very, very obvious when I can see that happening. And I see people saying just crazy things. You know, I saw someone say something about if Q posted somebody more than once, that means that they're bad news. Okay, so, well, does that include the president? You know, I mean, so, or is it everybody besides the president? Like, it's counterintuitive to me. You know, it's not, and it's never been the people in the posts, okay? The person that gets whatever, you know, shine they get from being in that post, that is a side effect, but it's the information that's in that tweet, that post, whatever it is, you know, that's what's important. And that's what I've always believed, that the shine was meant to be on. What Q was calling attention to is whatever that information is. And, you know, as this movement has matured, more people have had the opportunity to be included in that. And that's a beautiful thing. You know, I mean, I don't think that it's a bad thing ever for Q to, you know, highlight something and put it out there and show that info. I think that we've only been told, you know, about somebody specifically. And even that one person, I don't find it necessary to belittle or defame them. I'm just not going to watch that show. You know, I mean, I stopped watching years ago.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Same here. And drop I keep coming back to, or line I keep coming back to over and over again when I'm thinking about this, whether that is someone saying, oh, this person is bad, or that person is great, whatever the case is, he says, no one person is above another. Mm-hmm. We are all in this together. It is the information, it's the public awakening that's really going to cause this to happen. If we fixate on big-upping ourselves or insulting other people, saying this person's bad, that person's bad, just like you said, it's moving away from getting the information out and getting people to understand this, because public awakening is their greatest fear. Mm-hmm. And that is absolutely happening. And even when people, I think it's a very small minority of people at this point, so many people, when you see this kind of thing, it just seems like you get the reaction of exactly what we're talking about here, which is, hey, we don't need that. And it is unstoppable, I think, at this point. And I think I just think it's ego. It's total ego, and no one person is above another. No matter, as you mentioned previously, I saw someone mention in the chat too, there are so many different voices here, and so many different people can speak to different things. Our favorite Anonymous also said, this is so much bigger than you think. Mm-hmm. This goes beyond just exposing corruption. This goes to understanding how we ourselves work. It goes to human psychology. It goes to our ancestral traumas that have been passed on, they've used against us. There is an almost infinite number of facets to the Great Awakening, and everyone has their own set of skills they bring to the table, whatever that is doing, if that's sharing things via email, making videos, talking to your friends, talking about different subjects that are related. No one person is above another. Everyone has their own talents, and they won't be stopped with any kind of division, as far as I can tell.
Yeah. That's the thing, is it is a very, very small group of people. And, you know, I just, when I see everyone coming together, when I see everyone rallying around what is essentially the awakening of humanity, it lifts my heart up. And when I see people trying to tear that down, that's when I get... you know, I get upset about it. Yeah, I mean, it's a difficult thing. You know, I mean, when I see people inside this movement trying to tear it apart, it is disheartening. But then at the same time, people realize that, and they rally together, and they come back, you know, tenfold, even more strong than before. And to your point, every single person in this movement is of the same level of importance. We all have a vital part that we get to play. And it doesn't matter the number of people that that each individual reaches. You know, just the fact that we're able to reach out. If we can speak with one person and help them to awaken, then, you know, we reach that point of critical mass, which I do believe we're at. EO2 Dave asked, "Do SCOTUS get state funerals?" I don't know.
I don't think so. Yeah. I don't think that. I was looking at that in in the state funeral Wikipedia, and I don't think they do from what I can tell, or generally they don't anyway.
Okay. Thanks, EO2 Dave. And then Michael Kenny said, cut off the supply of adrenochrome and old people die. Yes, that's absolutely. So, I mean, like, as a, just that comment right there, that's why I've been waiting for Prince Philip to die for so long. I mean, he looks like he's ready to pass. I mean, he's in his, mid to late 90s? And also, thank you to my mods. Scooter, thanks for asking me to remind myself to thank the mods. My mods are some of the best mods on this platform, if not the best. I don't want to have too much confidence, but I appreciate you guys, each and every one of you. Crystal Lynn, first time I've seen you tonight. Glad you're here. JNBD, thank you for that super chat. Colleen Luce Wilson says, the lights were turned off and the roaches are running. Yeah, we've got, I saw a story the other day about another American, I maybe believe it was an actor, somebody else moving to New Zealand, trying to escape here before we get to a second Trump term. Chris Hawkins said, well said, Red Pill. Well said, amen. Thank you, Chris. I appreciate it. I'm glad you guys were all here with us tonight. Jeffrey Otero says, did you hear about the real Princess Harry dying the other day? If you're referring to what I think you're referring to, there was a satire website which was circulating a story about a Prince Harry, like the real Prince Harry. I think that's what you're talking about. So if there actually was another one that was from a real website, then by all means, guys, help us out. Share it here. Julie Tobin said, thank you for all your hard work. Thank you, Julie. Leslie Burgett said, so happy to be kind. Thank you, Red Pill. Thanks, Craig. Thanks, Patriots. Thank you, Leslie. Concrete Watershed says, ultimately trust in the Lord. Yes, absolutely. I think in the end, obviously, we know that God wins, but I mean, I'm human. I'm vulnerable to the things of earth. Whether they're good or bad, and mentally, this is a war. I mean, we are waking up and fighting all day, every day. And I see a lot of people getting battle fatigue. I see people, kind of feeling like, I'm ready. I'm ready for this to happen. And I am ready too. I'm sure that you're ready for it to happen as well. But I know that it's going to happen in the perfect time. I mean, it's going to happen at the exact moment that it's meant to happen. And just because we want it and we're ready, it doesn't mean that, we're going to be able to speed that along. It's God's time. It's not my plan.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And I remember watching these drops in 2018, and there were things saying 2018 will be glorious, and glorious means arrests are in pain. And we all thought, oh, it's going to happen this year. I mean, I thought, maybe everyone didn't think that, but it all seems like it is now. In retrospect, it seems kind of obvious that it was all leading up to 2020 to set the stage for the 2020 election, to allow that to be a referendum on, do the people want to go with the party of high crime, open borders, late-term abortion, and socialism, or do they want to go with the party of the American dream, the American family, prosperity, and greatness? And that is what Trump says, I'm paraphrasing there a bit, at the end of every one of his rallies. And I think it's just going to be made into this obvious choice where we get a mandate, where Trump gets a mandate, where Barr gets a mandate, Durham gets a mandate. This whole movement gets a mandate from the American people to say, if you want to go down the road of socialism, communism, total squalor, and I think that when it comes down to it with these people, abject Satanism and sadism, if you want to go down that, vote for it. But as our favorite Anon has said before, there are way more good people than bad. If you survey people and you ask them, in fact, I was talking, maybe I told this story before when I was on here, I don't recall, but I was talking to my cousin who is 21 or 22 or so at a family gathering over the summer, and he said, I like Cory Booker, who's out now. He's been to college. He's gone through the college process. I was a victim of it myself, or I don't want to call myself a victim, but you go to college, they tell you all these insane theories, and you start to believe them after a while, as people do. And I was like, oh yeah, why is that? And he was telling me, oh, healthcare, yada yada, and we couldn't agree on that. But I said, can you at least agree on this? If it comes down to these things, which are, we want equal rights, free speech, and we want to put all the pedos in jail. And I think that's essentially what Trump's platform will boil down to in 2020 is, do you want to have prosperity? Do you want to have equal rights for people? Do you want to have free speech? And do you want to lock up the criminals? I think that's going to be an incredibly simple choice for most people who aren't dead asleep, because this has all been leading up, I believe, from what I can tell, unless we've all been totally duped, it seems like it's leading up to 2020 to totally expose them, and then give the American people a chance to say, yes, we chose Trump in 2016 by the skin of our teeth. We were a very divided nation. And now we have a chance to say, are you sure? Are you sure you want where we're going with this? Because this is serious business. So choose it again. You're basically giving him another election to choose the same thing. And then he will plow forward, guns blazing, into 2020 and into 2024 with exactly the mandate that he gets this year.
With an undeniable mandate, you know.
Undeniable.
Yeah, you know, and as far as I'm concerned, 2018 was glorious. 2019 was glorious. And 2020 is going to be even more glorious. With the slow drip of information that we've had, it had the effect that you mentioned early on, that you know, people need to hear things over and over and over again. I think that it's easy for people to take for granted, you know, what's been going on, because maybe we've known for a very long time. We have been awake. We have been aware. Just imagine if, like, it was yesterday that you learned about what was happening. How many more people do you think are going to wake up as a result of what's going to come out during this impeachment trial? We've got an overwhelming majority of the country that not only wants witnesses, but that also just doesn't even agree that there should even be an impeachment trial, because they know that the president never committed a crime. Real quick, Gaffer Anon says, continued prayers for Methods. When do we get a video of the new bathroom? You guys, I actually took one like a month ago, and then I forgot to post it. Ray Anderson, thank you for that. Thank you too, Gaffer. Michael Kenny said, I don't know how to approach this tastefully, but curious to hear both of your opinions on the needless infighting that we saw this week with High Impact and SGT. Feels like it touches on the ego thing. I'm actually not familiar with that. This was a busy week for me, so I didn't watch much YouTube. If there is fighting going on, then, you know, that's unfortunate, but I bet you there's probably something behind the scenes that we're not aware of. I mean, I'm friends with Sean. So, you know, he's not the kind of guy to walk around and gossip about people if there's an issue. So I don't know what happened, but, you know, I mean, I hope that they work it out. It's unnecessary. I know that there are some people. It used to be a lot bigger on this platform, but the whole drama, the call and response, you know, people making videos about each other, I think it's so tasteless. And I just think that it's unnecessary. I mean, this is another place where we have, you know, a common goal. I mean, people on this platform want to, you know, reach their audience. They want to be successful. They want to do it without having unnecessary roadblocks put in their way. And, you know, I mean, when it happens here, it's very obvious. I mean, you can feel it. And that is something that can get demoralizing, you know? I mean, it is a scary thing, okay, to wake up every morning, to have this mission, to know what we want to do and what we want to produce, and to want to, you know, have these interactions with people, and to wonder, you know, I mean, like, is it going to be there? You know, am I going to wake up and everything's gone because there was another culling? Definitely, that can weigh on you. But I mean, the mission itself is so important to me. It's something that you just have to push into the back of your mind. Son of a Green Card said, ego will harden a heart and blind the eyes. Absolutely. Thank you, Son of a Green Card. Brian Beller says, is there any truth to Barbara Bush being the daughter of Aleister Crowley? That's an interesting one. I have heard that, and I've actually seen a... Michael Kenny, he says, I really thought I made a mistake sending that super chat, but you handled it like a boss. Well, thank you very much, Michael. I'm very diplomatic. So, yeah, Aleister Crowley and Barbara Bush, they have an uncanny resemblance to each other. It's definitely something that I've heard, but there is no hardcore proof that I know of. But, I mean, I could see it happening.
Yeah, no, I haven't heard of that either. I mean, I've heard of it, but I haven't seen any evidence of it.
We should pull up a picture just so that let's go ahead and do that, guys, because that is actually something that. Oh, and I just wanted to say I've dropped Craig's YouTube into the chat on a number of occasions. So if you guys wouldn't mind, please do subscribe to Craig's channel because he's criminally undersubscribed. They've kind of got him in his pocket on YouTube, and he's got a very dedicated group of people who go and watch his videos on a daily basis. But if you're enjoying this conversation, please do consider going and subscribing to Craig. I also want to say that I have put his YouTube URL in the description of the video. I also have his Twitter in the description, and I'm dropping his Twitter into the chat right now. Drunk Pinata says, great work, both of you. Much appreciated. Thank you very much, Drunk Pinata. Oh, honey, get off my keyboard. Get off my keyboard. She just changed some settings. Okay. Todd Varner says, a new world awaits if you can take it. That's right. And DJ Scratch D's became a member. Thank you very much for becoming a member of the channel. Ray Anderson, she says, my heart is so happy that Methods is back. Absolutely. For a number of reasons. I'm glad to have Methods here fighting alongside us. More than anything, I'm still praying and hoping that his health is okay. You know, it is not an easy thing to hear. I've never told this before, but there have been 2 separate occasions in my life where I was told that I may have cancer. And so, you know, I mean, you hear a doctor say that, and there's not much you can do until you get those test results back, you know, and there are, you know, all kinds of things that can go wrong with your health. And when you are a young man and that happens to you, I think it's one of the scariest things that you can go through, because it's not supposed to be that way, you know? I mean, you're supposed to be young and virile and powerful and able to go out into the world and conquer it and keep your family safe. And if that's put in jeopardy, then it's no fun. Let's see. Ziggy123 said, while POTUS is building a defense case against Mueller, the Dems are pulling the ultimate obstruction of justice, trying to get inside the defense by seeing docs and calling witnesses. Yeah, they are. Are you aware of any of those moves that they've made?
Which moves?
The Dems trying to get into the defense's legal team, see documents, see what the president is planning to present, something like that.
No, I'm not aware of those moves. I don't know what's going to happen with the rest of the Dems case. It seems like they've really queued up themselves to just get absolutely eviscerated. I mean, as our favorite or not has said, this is another one I always come back to, is the truth is a force of nature. People are magnetically drawn to the truth. It's some kind of cosmic force in the universe that people like, because if you see the truth, you can operate much more successfully in the world. If you are, our favorite one has also asked, what is it like if you're blind? What do? You know, if you're blind and you don't know you're blind, especially, then you make a lot more mistakes. You bump into things. You don't know why you're bumping into things. There's a quote from, I think it's, I'll probably say his name wrong, but Goethe, the German philosopher.
Yeah.
He said, there are none more hopelessly enslaved than those who falsely believe they're free. And we were all walking around blind in so many ways that we had no idea. We thought we saw it clearly because we had the 6 o'clock fake news coming on and telling us how it was, and they would get all emotional and say, oh, geez, this is a big story. You better pay attention to this. And they controlled the entire narrative, and we all would fight with each other about this story or that story. And someone mentioned the super chat, which you handled diplomatically, about the infighting of various people. And now we just look past it, and we don't engage with those things, because if they can control the frame, if they can control what we talk about, they win, because then they can just go, oh, talk about the story here, or we don't care. Which choose one or the other. We don't care, because you're not seeing there's this massive cabal of people controlling your life. And as for, you mentioned previous times that you thought you had cancer, and all these things people suffer from, whether or not they're brought on by Big Pharma or not. Our favorite on has said, we have the cures. Story just came out this week, I don't know if you saw it, about somehow they stumbled upon an accident, a cure for all cancer potentially. They haven't tested it yet, but it seems like it's very promising. And I thought, wow, isn't that interesting coincidence that now in Trump's term, they finally seem like they're coming up with a cure for all of cancer. I heard your guest, I don't know if it was last week or the week before, someone saying what an enormous industry that is, incredibly profitable for the Big Pharma, et cetera, et cetera. And the fact that they would let people, I mean, this is such an illustration of how sick these people are. The fact that they would let people get sick, hold back the cures, suffer, have their loved ones die, and just carry on sitting in their castles or their estates with their multiple $5 billion houses going, oh, this is all fine. We don't care. I mean, that's like insanely sick.
And monetize that death and suffering.
Yes,
monetize
exactly.
it. Also, had Lev Josiah Woods. Hey, thanks, buddy. Good to see you, LJ. Also, D said, I saw another message in a drop. Did anyone else click the link Protocol Etiquette, then Common Courtesy album about a band, A Day to Remember, Victory label? I did not see it, but I'm assuming you're getting to the victory portion. Supermax1234 says, have you had George Webb on the show before? Thank you for all your work, Red Pill. No, I have not had George Webb on the show before. I believe that there's some litigation that he's involved in, so I'm going to wait, until all that stuff is cleared up before I even think about that one. But I did watch George Webb for a long time religiously. And then Soccer Chick 0927, I love your show and you're the voice of reason. Who do you guys think are top picks that will be the first to be arrested, and when? Yeah, that's an excellent question. Do you have any top picks for who's going to be arrested?
I think it'll be someone that is somewhat well known but very dislikable. Perhaps a John Brennan type who's pretty hard to defend. That's what comes to mind right away. I don't think it'll be someone like HRC, but I think it'll be someone that people go, oh yeah, he's kind of a bad guy, it seems, like maybe a Dick Cheney type. Maybe it'll be a Republican first. One of those guys that it's hard to deny that this guy's a bad guy, whether you're Republican or Democrat. I mean, Hillary's kind of getting to that point. It seems like the Ds don't really like that. What you have left in the Democrat party is you have people not really paying attention, it seems, that are voting for Joe Biden somehow. And then you have people that are on the Bernie brigade, which those people generally hate Hillary Clinton. So it could be, maybe they'll start with someone big, but I think it'll be a universally not likable person. What do you think?
It's a tough call, I mean, I think that it is going to be somebody who is very unliked, universally unliked, but it also could be somebody very low level, involved in the DOJ or the FBI, because I think that's an easy place to go. It could be Hunter Biden, to be quite honest with you. All right, you guys, don't freak out. Muffin needs to take a station identification break, so I'm just gonna throw on some music, you guys. So just sit back, relax. I'll be back in just a moment. All right, guys, thank you for your patience. Do appreciate that. Muffin and Chi-Chi appreciate it as well. Craig and I are both back. Haterproof said Barbara Bush's mother, Pauline Pierce, Paris, 1920s. So I have heard before that her mother was connected to Aleister Crowley. So definitely something that we're going to go ahead and dig in on. EO2 Dave says, never interrupt the enemy when they are red-pilling the country for you. It's an excellent point. Yeah, they've made a lot of our points for us. Son of a Green Card said, thoughts on Rudy's new podcast today. It seemed very well thought out, led with common sense, not emotion. I was not even aware that he came out with a new podcast. Craig, are you aware of that?
Yeah, I only heard a little clip of it, but it was very good. And I think it's called Common Sense. It's amazing how that theme just keeps popping up. It seems like a lost art of just saying, hey, let's think about this logically. Let's use some common sense here. It's amazing how much it seems like they kind of inoculated us to common sense, and it's coming back in a big way. And so I haven't seen much of it, but I've heard it's very good.
Okay, Kate Awakening says, oh my God, it was good. I'm definitely going to be listening to that. I'm going to go ahead and listen to that tomorrow. But how ironic that he announces he's ready to start dropping information, and then he starts a podcast. I mean, talk about a platform. He's going to have the opportunity to bring that to a lot of people. I mean, think about how many millions of people listen to podcasts every day. I would think that, you know, anybody that watches this channel would probably go ahead and watch it. Sounds like he's on YouTube. And then Colleen Luce Wilson says, fighter jet just flew from MacDill Air Force Base, empty skies for a long time. All right, something could be going on. Terry Fell, hey, what's up, Terry? She says, my cancer has cost over $1 million so far. That's what we're talking about. You know, I mean, they're in the business of treatment, and they don't care how much damage it does, you know, because it's not just to the person who's sick, it's to everyone around them. Many people are not lucky enough to have individual health care. They have to go on Medicaid, and in order to do that, you have to divest yourself of every single possession, everything of value, so that you can prove to them that you're absolutely destitute and that you need the government to go ahead and pay for it. And as long as people have the government footing the bill on their health care, and let's be clear, when it is Medicaid getting your cancer treatments, there is a completely different level of healthcare that you're going to get than if you have a premium self-paid-for healthcare. Charles Pixley, that may have been the show that you were talking about when Charles and I were on together, and he was talking about you know, how quickly he saw people with Medicaid dying from the cancers that they had just because they were given substandard care. So it's very unfortunate to think about how many people have passed away as a result of that. Cindy Smith, thank you for that super chat. Grandpa C said, there is no I in where we go one, we go all. Absolutely. Going back to that idea of the ego. Michael Kenny says, common sense is a call to Thomas Paine. Yes, it is. I caught that. I didn't say it out loud. I thought everybody would know, but thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. Dogs at Play says, it's always bothered me that the DNC is a medical acronym for dilate and cunterage, or the big A word. That's horrible. I wonder if they did that on purpose. I've heard that before. DNC, it's an acronym for the medical term for the big A word, Planned Parenthood. Very interesting. And Southern Rebel says, Rudy's YouTube channel is a little hard to find. It's listed as Rudy W. Giuliani, or I think maybe it was just spelled wrong. Rudy W. Giuliani. All right, you guys. Sorry for the heavy breathing. I was running down the stairs to let the dogs out and trying to get back as quick as possible. Okay, Michael says, I know, I feel condescending. It's okay. It's okay, buddy. Don't worry. I know that's not what you meant. All right, so listen, I think we're ready to open up the calls to the audience. We would love it if you guys join the conversation with us. So what I'm going to do is put the text on the air. Don't call into that information yet. Let me put the revised text up. It'll take just a moment for me to get it. But Craig, any thoughts on any of those chats that I just read, or anything that we had?
Yeah, actually, the whole healthcare situation, I'll tell you, I'll tell everyone, I suppose, a brief story about my own medical history. I don't know if anybody suffers from back pain. I mean, statistically, probably a ton of people do, and this are generally pain. Back pain is one of the biggest ones, but for years, I had debilitating back pain. I somewhat injured it doing too much yoga, and then it never really went away. Most back pain, you know, people say oh, my back went out. I pulled something in my back. It goes away in 6 weeks. Then if it doesn't go after that, it goes away in like 2 months. And it's almost all gone. But some people, it stays with for a long time. And I was one of those people. And I went to probably a dozen different specialists, chiropractors, surgeons, pain specialists, et cetera, et cetera. I couldn't work. I thought, is my life over? Did I hurt something with myself? I couldn't find anything. But I found the work of a doctor named Dr. John Sarno, and he did this work mostly in the 70s or 80s, I think, at the latest, and had amazingly good results. And all it was retraining the brain to think about it in a different way and stop the body from sabotaging itself and causing itself pain. It gets into this loop.
Really?
Yeah, it's very strange. It's TMS, tension myositis syndrome is the name of the syndrome, but none of the doctors I went to either knew about it or brought it up. I'm sure they didn't know about it because it has, when they studied it, it has amazingly good results. And within 3 weeks, it was basically totally gone. And I'll have a flare up of it here and there, but it's just a matter of knowing what your brain is trying to do. It gets into this endless loop of thinking, if I move in certain ways, I'll hurt myself. And so then you stop moving, and then it's a vicious cycle. And it actually does cause a slight restriction of blood flow to certain areas, which causes a lot of pain, but it's not dangerous at all. Mm-hmm. But if someone has pain out there and they're watching this, I would recommend looking into the work of Dr. John Sarno, Sarno, or also a guy named Stephen Ray Ozanich, who kind of took his work and ran with it and wrote a book called The Pain Deception. I would recommend those books. It totally fixed my problem. I thought I was debilitated, and this was years in the making. And it's another one of those things that, it's one of the, I bought a $12 Audible book, and my pain that I'd spent thousands of dollars with plenty of specialists and did all of these exercises that I thought were going to help it and would help for like a short period of time and never cured it, has cured it with one book, one $12 book. And after thousands of dollars, it was a $12 book that somehow is not out there, even though this information's been there from the 80s, mm-hmm. and it has cured so many people. But it's not profitable. So doctors don't know about it. They go to school, they become essentially big pharma reps, and it's which is more profitable. If you're a surgeon, $25,000 of surgery, you're saying, hey, read this book, and then losing a huge business deal.
Exactly.
It's amazing, but there's so much information out there that is getting out now, so much power of the mind to heal. And I'm not saying, if you have a broken leg or if you have whatever it is, whatever problem it is, go to your doctor. I'm not saying totally abolish Western medicine. I'm saying they don't want you, seemingly, maybe it's a coincidence, I don't know. They don't want you to know these simpler cures out there. And I think I think it's another facet of the many facets of the Great Awakening that people are starting to discover now.
Absolutely. Well, fascinating stuff. I've never heard of that, but I have heard of Dr. John Sarno. Then just real quick, we're going to finish these super chats before we go to the callers. We've already got 9 people waiting. Awesome, you guys. I can't wait to hear what you say. Haterproof says, #cancer, #thesis, antithesis, synthesis. Thank you for Haterproof. Neeboopsh, what's up, brother? Good to see you here. Best wishes for all of you guys and our man M3 thoughts. Methods. See you in DC for the 4th, Patriots. I'll see you there, brother. EO2 Dave said, Rudy, it starts at minute 17 on the Patriot Hour. Okay. Lady of the Woods, thank you for that. Nadraj Samish says, someone, maybe IET, offered up a theory that they could use the threat of the coronavirus to lock down travel and use this threat to arrest people before they run. That's actually a very, very interesting theory. Compelling idea. And then John Mark Raditz says, a small gift. Well, thank you very much, John Mark Raditz. I appreciate that. Is that 2000 W? I don't know what that W is. Maybe it's... I'll have to look it up. But thanks, buddy. Whatever the gift is, I appreciate you. All right, so we're going to start off with my man, TikTok. Good friend and fellow researcher. TikTok, are you there, my friend?
Fine.
What's up, brother?
Yes, I am.
Good stuff. Glad to have you here, bud.
How are you guys doing tonight?
I'm doing good.
Hold on just a second. I got a little bit of feedback here.
Yeah. Mute us because it will cause a delay.
All right, there we go.
All right, sweet. So now we've got you all to ourselves in the live stream.
Right, okay. Hey,
all right.
I came in late, and right whenever I came in, you guys were talking about the Mr. Peanut thing.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I sent you a message about Mr. Peanut. They have a video of it out. It's already out. And post number 104, his age is time to pray.
Really? You talk in gematria, you mean?
No, I'm talking Q post 104 is time to pray.
But who's... Oh, Mr. Peanut is 104.
That's how old he was.
Oh, wow. Oh, that's very, very interesting. Was that on Discord, bud?
Yeah.
Okay, hang on.
Yeah, I've got the post here. It says, "Now it's time to pray. We're operational. God bless the United States of America." That's it. From November 5th, 2017.
Very cool. Very cool. Awesome, dude. And TikTok, great work lately, bud. You've been getting on some excellent information. And
if you also, there's a Navy post that came out tonight about a little over an hour ago. I did a thread on it. It's a boat firing. There's 4 missile battleships, directional missile ships. I'm kind of all like loopy right now because of my thinking.
Sure.
But it basically, he starts off stating, or it starts off showing that they're, here it is. You got 4 directional missile destroyers.
Yep.
And then you have one that's firing on this Navy post, right? Well, yep. I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute. Those are, what kind of missile boats are there? There's 4 of them. Mm-hmm. And if you look at that first boat right there, I'm not sure if you're on the...
I am. Yeah, I got the tweet pulled up, yeah.
It's 59 and 95. Mirror them. Because if you look at how it's reading down the boat,
mm-hmm.
It's mirrored, okay? And then you go to post 95 and 59, it's welcome to Saudi Arabia. Mm-hmm. For 59 and 95 is what happened in Saudi Arabia.
Oh, very interesting. Yeah, yeah.
Okay, and then the post, the timestamp for their post is who controls the narrative.
Okay.
It's 8:30.
Very cool.
And then POTUS tonight dropped a tweet that states, check out Sean Hannity now at Fox News Big Tonight at 8:59. You go to that post number, Russia, China still sabotage.
Very cool, dude. Good stuff.
And then you do the military time on it. China and granted access to Hillary's servers via CrowdStrike. What did Q drop the other night about CrowdStrike?
Yeah, the post about here, come on, get down, honey. Get down. Hang on, let me get her down. Okay.
It's kind of cool. I mean, I don't want to take up too much time with this, but yeah, it's like the Navy was always watch the water. And what led me to this is that our new little girl in the Congress, Elise.
Yes.
If you go all the way down, she dropped at 6:13. Beautiful twilight ferry ride from Vermont to New York. And the pictures, if you mirror them, it's dark to light.
Oh, very interesting. Hang
on.
What
led me to that was that timestamp of her tweet, okay, which led me all the way up to the beginning of my tweet. It says the guided missile destroyers. And then if you look, Q dropped this on Q. If you look down where it says the frog and the punch 17 comms, if you look at that, click on that end. That gives POTUS the direction to arrest American citizens if they're a threat to the America.
So you think maybe they're trying to say it's time to get out of Dodge, take a boat?
Yeah, I don't know what they're trying to say, but tonight Schiff accused Trump of being a Russian asset, mm-hmm. a Russian agent in Congress, yep. or in the Senate, and he was under oath. That's a direct threat to the President of the United States, in my opinion.
I think it could definitely be construed that way.
That was a shot fired.
Okay. Good stuff, man. Good stuff. All right, TikTok. Any other crumbs that you got today you want to tell us about?
Today, not really. I've just really been paying attention to what they've been saying, really. And I was just like, what, man, they're just repeating over and over and over. It's like they're beating an old drum.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. I think they're trying to do what we've been successful in doing is they're trying to just repeat it over and over again. They say it enough times, long enough, loud enough, and they think people are going to believe it. All right, TikTok, thanks for calling in, buddy. I appreciate it.
One other thing, if everybody's been trying to ask for my handle, I saw in the chats the other time, it's at the K Bros Killa, as in the K Bro Killers, the Karazakan brothers.
All right, I just dropped it in the chat as well, guys. So yeah, if you want to go ahead and follow TikTok, go ahead and follow that link and get yourself on board. All right, brother. Thanks again for calling.
Yeah, no problems. Hey, have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Talk to you soon. All right. Thank you for the call. Lots of good information on there. Appreciate that. Let's see who's coming up next. We've got Group C. Group C. Oh, yeah. It's the Jeepers Creepers. What's up, my friend? How are you? Well, looks like you need to get your microphone turned on. We're going to bring in another caller while we're waiting on that. And
how's this? Is this better?
Oh, yep. I can hear you now. Go ahead, Jeepers Creepers. Group C.
Let me turn off the stream. That way I can hear you. Okay.
No problem.
Okay. Much better. How are you both doing tonight?
Great, thank you. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Just want to say I enjoy, well, you've seen me on your show a couple times, Red Pill, and Craig, I really enjoy watching your shows too. I think you narrate them really well, and the kind of messages you to put out on YouTube, I'm sure it's waking up a lot of people. And I have no doubt in my mind that Q and the White Hats, they know about you guys. And when they say you are the news now, they're referring to you and the others. So good on both of you.
Well,
thank
thanks.
you. I think you are the news now is not just, I mean, it is people doing this, but it's everyone. The network of the 3,600 people watching here, if everybody talks to a few people in their network, it is explosive. They can't take out one central point. But thank you, Group C.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
Likewise. I really do appreciate it. I appreciate you coming and taking your time to not only watch the shows but call in and participate. It means a lot. It means a lot that you would say that, and I take this very seriously. It's an honor for me to be here alongside you guys on a daily basis.
This is great. I mean, let me tell you, in the first days that I woke up, which for me was in March of 2017, you know, I just accumulated all this knowledge that, you know, what the New World Order, the Deep State, the Rothschilds, and stuff like, you know, suppressed information such as like UFOs, big pharma, and all this stuff. And I felt like, shoot, I must be one of few people who's awake to this. Wait, are there other people awake? Wait a minute, does Donald Trump know about this? Wait a minute, is Donald Trump part of this? You know, just so much uncertainty. And then when this whole Q movement started and brought us all together, like, things are a hell of a lot more interesting. And for you guys to do your shows and have these live call-ins, it's super reassuring. And each and every single day, I look forward to listening to both of your podcasts. Like, no, not gonna lie, it's one of those things I look forward to almost every single day.
Well, thank you so much. I'm glad that we can be a part of your day and help to make this a little more tolerable. You know, I mean, this is something I look forward to, Craig. I mean, I'm sure that you do as well.
Oh yeah, I mean, I look forward to it more every day. There was a time, you know, a year ago when it was seeming like it was, you know, after the election, it seemed a little frustrating, but I've never been more energized to be doing this every single day. I feel like I can do more with less energy because it is all happening so nicely. And this network has grown to such a critical mass of people who are just unwilling to stop and are just laser focused on making sure that we, the people, are the news now.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, go ahead.
It's just it's cool how, like, you know, you both have a lot more than this going on, and probably a heck of a lot more, and yet you both still have the energy and the enthusiasm to convey the messages like clearly and like I said, enthusiastically the way you do. So it's like I definitely see the passion and energy when you guys do your videos, and it's really, really amazing and impressive.
Thank you. It's because I have a very understanding wife and family.
Maybe me not so much, but I'm just kidding. No, it's I think that the people in my life definitely understand that this is not just something that, you know, I like doing. I mean, this is my career. I mean, it is my mission to wake up every day, and I think it's my responsibility to convey the message in the way that I do. You've got plenty of people out there who are naysayers. You know, they are doomsday people who, you know, can, you know, make a lot of money, you know, by fear mongering, you know, by saying things that they, you know, that they know are just going to elicit a response. And I just want to make sure that people know that, you know, the because we talked about it the other day when Marfugel, you know, he said that sometimes he gets accused of being a fearmonger, but I have never considered him to be a fearmonger. You know, I mean, he's talking to his audience about preparing for things and just making people aware. But I don't think that he ever presents things in kind of that doomsday-ish way that I've seen other presenters do. So I love Adam, and I love what he does. But for me to come out here and to be excited about the information that I'm sharing, to be able to give people hope, I take that very seriously, and I really, really enjoy it. So again, thank you so much, Group C. I do appreciate it, bud.
Yeah, thank you and amen.
Absolutely.
Yeah, anytime. You both have a good night.
You too. Thanks again for calling. We'll talk to you soon.
All right, talk to you later.
Yep. Bye-bye. All right, Denise is next. Denise, do we got your mic working? All right, Denise, while you're getting that microphone working, we're going to bring in our next caller, and that's going to be Ann. Ann, are you there? Ann, you are on the air. Actually, looks like Denise got her mic working. Denise, are you there?
I'm here.
Welcome, my friend. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Are you celebrating over there in the UK?
Celebrating very much, yeah.
Good.
Celebrating, yes, 6 days.
So how is this going to play out? What's coming up here? And tell us, what is the mood like in your area?
Why am I hearing myself?
You probably have your stream playing on your computer still. So you need to pause it or mute it.
Hang on a minute.
No problem. Yeah, just a reminder for anybody when you call in, when we...
There.
Yeah.
That's better.
Okay, good. And just a reminder to anybody when you call in, be ready to mute the stream on your computer and not turn your volume down, because then you won't hear us on the actual phone call. But yeah, so I was just saying, tell us about the mood there in the UK. I mean, are people planning to celebrate? Have you gotten any word about what you anticipate is going to be taking place with Brexit on the horizon?
Yes, 6 days and counting. Nigel Farage has organised a party in Parliament Square outside Westminster. There will be no Big Ben bonging. However, Boris is going to impose a picture of Big Ben on number 10. Nigel Farage has got very big speakers, he says, so he'll be playing the bongs through his speaker at the appropriate time. And there's a few people I don't know whether Boris will turn up at his party, but there's going to be a few turning up. But yes, I think that people are now believing that it's actually happening, especially since tonight Boris signed the withdrawal agreement, went to Brussels. It was signed off by von der Leyen, von der Leyen. I can never pronounce her name. She signed it, and it came back to London on a fast train. Boris has just countersigned it. It will now go back to Brussels, and the 27 other member states will vote for it to be accepted. Once that's done, that's it, and that'll happen on the 29th, and that's it. That withdrawal bill then will become international law, will go into international law and go into the vaults in Brussels. But yes, I think people are getting really excited now. I mean, you know, Red Pill, we've waited for nearly 4 years for this.
Mm-hmm.
And the Lords even tried to stymie it at the last minute last week, putting amendments in, and Boris just said, nope, not having that, and sent it straight back to him, and they caved. They didn't even argue, they caved.
They know they've been beat.
That's it. I mean, he's got such a huge majority now. In 6 months, that man's done more than Theresa May did in her 3 years.
That's a tremendous testimony to the power of the office. I mean, what he's been able to achieve. Theresa May should have been able to get this taken care of. So she was clearly stonewalling, or she had absolutely no desire to help the Brexit become successful. Craig, did you have any?
She was.
Oh, go ahead.
She was a Remainer.
Yeah.
She was a Remainer.
Craig, do you have any questions about what's happening in the UK with Brexit, or any observations on what's taken place?
Yeah, I remember when, I can't believe it's been so long. You said it's been three or 4 years. I remember hearing that Brexit vote come back, and I was astounded. I thought that was the first thing I vividly remember that I thought, wow, maybe things are changing when the Brits voted for that. And now it's finally, of course, they tried to stymie it. They always do. And I'm so excited for you, Denise, and the fellow UK patriots. Is everyone going round to the pub on the 31st?
Well, I won't be going round the pub because I'm not much of a drinker. I'll just be sitting here with a mug of tea. Yeah.
Nice, excellent. Well, congratulations.
But various towns are having parties. Bolton is having one, and they are ringing their bell at 11 p.m. next Friday. So yes, quite a few towns are getting into it. EU flags are coming down and Union flags are going up, and yes, it's good stuff. And as I was telling Red Pill a few weeks ago when I was on his show, it's the parallels between you in America and us in the UK. To 2016, we voted to leave. 2016, you got POTUS as your president. The parallels are, and POTUS is fighting a battle with the Dems. We've been fighting a battle with the Labour Party, which is our equivalent to your Democrats.
Absolutely.
Yes, it's been a long time coming, and excitement is building. Yeah.
Awesome. Well, Denise, again, congratulations to you and all of your citizens there in the UK. I'm very, very happy for you guys. Keep us up to date on what's taking place, okay?
Will do. And big hug out to Methods.
Yes.
He has been so missed. Missed him so much.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Methods, I don't know if you're out there still, but we love you, buddy. All right. Denise, thanks again for your call. I appreciate it.
Okay, bye.
Talk to you soon.
Adios.
All right, so let's see. Coming up next, you guys, don't forget to get ready to mute. We've got Drunk Pinata coming up next. Drunk Pinata, your microphone is on. You are on the air with Craig and Red Pill. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. How are you guys doing?
Great.
Excellent, excellent. What's your question or comment? I really like your drawing there.
Oh, thanks. Well, I'm a big fan of both you guys. You always have your go-tos, and you guys are definitely on my list for sure. I try to contribute when I can. I'm a guest host a lot of times over our PSB and things like that. So that's my usual contribution when I can. I wish I could give it up and just kind of do what you guys are doing, but unfortunately, I just don't know if I can do that. But and good to see that you guys are in in a situation where you guys can kind of share it openly. That's part of the reason why I started doing that. Was it was like the only outlet I had in order to like really talk through this kind of thing, because when you first kind of wake up to all this kind of stuff, it's pretty hard. It's a pretty small community, even with your close friends. So I kind of use it as an outlet. But I'm really interested to see how things are going to go. I've been paying attention to all these hearings and everything, and I watched like 20 minutes of that when Schiff came out, and I had to turn it off, and I'm surprised. And I'm really glad that everyone picked up on it. It was just so repetitive, right? So tomorrow they're going to do the rebuttal. I really hope that they're going to kind of just blast it out of the water, and we don't have to go through this whole witness thing.
I think they are going to blast it out of the water, but are you just hoping that they're not going to do it, or do you think that there's a possibility they may not? Because I thought that Ted Cruz made an excellent point talking about the need for these witnesses, but I think whatever happens, I do believe that they are going to blast it out of the water with that dream team for POTUS council. We have all of those familiar names, Ratcliffe, Jordan. We've got, Alan Dershowitz, who is a lifelong liberal and somebody who has, questionable motives. But we were shown in the posts all that time ago, welcome to the team, Alan. I think that he's probably making up for any sins that he's made in this life by acting out. Hey, there you are. Drunk pinata.
Oh, well, I didn't know if you had different features. I know,
Yeah.
I know how to use them pretty well. So
all right, sweet. Well, yeah, go for it.
As far as the as far as witnesses is concerned, I really hope that it's not going to be open-ended. I hope that it's each witness. And even I didn't even really like the reciprocal thing. Honestly, I think it should have just been each person. We're going to vote. Is this relevant? End of story.
Craig, what do you think?
Yeah, I think that that could be seen. I mean, I see how it's fair if you're looking at this in a big picture, but I think they're really being careful about the optics here and saying, okay, fine, have your madness, have your witness, one witness for ours. Put yourself on display more as having no evidence. Go for it. And people will say, they got witnesses. We get a witness. I think that's fair. I mean, I see what you're saying, that it would be totally actually fair, but I think this whole plan is a lot about optics and making sure it looks fair to the people. And they go, well, you jailed our guys. We got witnesses. And now this is fair at this point.
Well, I mean, if they want to honestly make it fair, I mean, the Democrats were able to call as many witnesses as they wanted prior to this during the inquiry phase. So now that the Republicans are in control of the trial, I mean, if they're the only ones who get to call witnesses, I mean, I would say it's still as fair as it was in the other house.
Well, it's the same argument they've had since the trial this trial kind of began. Was that do you give it the legitimacy by actually going through it, or do you dismiss it? Do you actually go through with that acquittal and then kind of actually legitimizes, but it's an acquittal. So it's I guess it comes down to the kind of optics that they really want to go through with.
Personally, I think that an acquittal is not enough. It needs to be a full vindication. I mean, they need to state conclusively that this has been baseless from the very beginning, that there were no criminal or impeachable acts committed by the president. He needs to be completely cleared of any potential wrongdoing or any way that they can to spin this once it's all said and done.
Well, what do you guys think about the straw man that they've been putting up and just saying the whole thing about, it was Ukraine, not Russia. This whole thing was totally baseless. Why are you even mentioning CrowdStrike? And now with the new coup post of some of the other things that are kind of implicating, especially with some of the payments that were made a day after a couple of people that we know passed away, unfortunately. And I found it odd. It was because I was trying to put the timeline together today. So the first two payments were on Cinco de Mayo, I believe, 2016, and they were both for consulting. The other payments were for actual physical activities of sorts. It seems like some type of maintenance. I think they were labeled under. So the type of payments that the activity that was implied. I think It's interesting, and especially if it's going to go to a point where they're going to have to call witnesses. I mean, they have to go to the whistleblower. I mean, they would have to, right?
Yeah. I think that
that leads to CrowdStrike. Who knows?
It's necessary. It's necessary to have that whistleblower or the leaker maybe come out and testify, because that's what set this whole thing off. I think that they need to have Adam Schiff testify as well. And I think that there are some things that we're going to see during this Senate trial. But I think that this will set the stage, so to speak, for the rest of those items that we were talking about to be dropped afterwards. I think that this is going to open the floodgates, and maybe at that point is when we're going to see the full deluge of information starting to come out.
Yeah, well, I just have to see what happens tomorrow. Well, I know you guys got a lot of callers. Thanks for having me on, and I'll talk to you later.
Drunk Pinata, thanks for joining us, bud. We'll talk to you soon.
Good to meet you.
All right. And thank you everybody for calling in tonight. Great callers so far. Next is Kelly's iPad. Kelly, whenever you're ready, go ahead and unmute. She may be getting the delay. Kelly, I hope that you have muted your stream. Oh, there we go. Kelly, you're on the air.
Hey, from Virginia.
Welcome. We're glad you're here.
Yeah. Hey, I just wanted to tell everybody thank you so much for everybody that shared and alerted and went to Richmond. And I just felt like, remember Lexington and Concord was known for the shot fired around the world.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was what was going on. And then there was a couple of people that came out with videos, iPod, Amazing Polly, but I felt like that's what we did as a group. Like, we are the news now. Like, we totally screwed up their plan and sent Northam to the beach in North Carolina. He wasn't even in Richmond. So I just want to say thanks to everybody from Virginia. And thanks to you guys too for what you guys are doing.
Well, thank you for that, for sure. And I have to admit, I thought that could have went a completely different direction. I'm very proud of everyone that was there. People were on the ball. They were ready for exactly what happened. As soon as they noticed infiltrators, they pointed them out. And it was about as perfect as it could go. Craig?
Oh yeah, that is exactly. I was so happy to see that went peacefully, and I was so happy to see the video, at least one video that I saw was going around of what seemed like an obvious infiltrator saying some pretty bad things and trying to incite violence. And just everyone pointed out right away, oh, this guy, you're this guy saying, if you're going to be like that, get out of here. This is not what we're a peaceful movement. I feel like this is a different kind of shot heard around the world. That there was no shot. A bunch of people gathered to exercise and defend their Second Amendment rights. And it went totally peacefully. No infiltration was successful. And that's just, I feel like, a taste of what's to come. So thank you to your fellow patriots in Virginia. That is amazing that they pulled that off.
Yeah, 100%. Thank you so much.
And another note, I went into the hold pattern, so I couldn't hear the rest of what TikTok was saying, but he was talking about the 4 ships. And where were those? Were they local on the East Coast, or are they out somewhere else? Where are those ships he was mentioning?
I'm not exactly certain where they were, and I don't know if it identified it in the tweet. But if you want to go look at TikTok's profile, it's at the Broskilla. Hold on, I'm gonna have to pull it up again. Let's see, Twitter.
It's the K.
There we
Bros Killa.
Okay.
THEK Bros as in brothers Killa. KILLA.
All right. Well, thank you. Yeah, I want to check that out, because I was also thinking about, when there was a lot of people that during the Virginia thing, I think it could have gone down wrong, because there was even at 1:30, there was something that was cited where they were going to do firecrackers and start stuff. And, a lot of things were stopped. I mean, there was, High Impacts had video of snipers on the roof. I mean, It was ready to go down, and a lot of stuff was stopped.
Yeah.
But what was interesting, there also was a AOPA. I posted it in the chat last week. But it was the AOPA.org, I think is what it's called. And it was talking about a military drill and how that your GPS may be messing up. And You know what I'm talking about?
Yep, I know what you're talking about. Yeah, definitely.
And so I was wondering if that was somehow connected with the ships, and how they, what they were doing. That's why I was wondering where those were. I just got cut off, so I didn't get to hear it.
No problem. Yeah, no, I mean, that's actually a great thought, I mean, if they had some type of jamming equipment just off the shore, I mean, I think we've heard the theory plenty of times that these things can be set off with some type of signal that's sent either to people or to bad actors that are in the area, and then things start to pop off as a result. And perhaps that jamming equipment was there helping to keep everybody safe. All right. Well, Kelly, thank you so much for your call. I really appreciate it.
Hey, can I say one more thing real quick?
Sure.
It's a different subject. To methods and everybody else out there, I'm not going to go into detail or personal story, but just say no to sugar if you're battling cancer or if you have a yeast fungal infection. Cancer is a fungus. It's candida. It hides in the protein cell. And go to healingoracle.ch, and there's an article on there about cancer is a fungus, but sugar feeds cancer. So cut out all kinds of high fructose corn syrup and sugar, and blessings to everybody, and healing in that area. And that's all I'll say about that. And thanks, and bless you guys.
Bless you as well. Thanks for the call.
Kelly.
All right. Bye now.
Yep. See ya. Bye-bye. All right, you guys, coming up, I do need to say Dana Finkler asked, want to call in, but the link wants a password. That is the meeting ID. That is in the description of this video and then also on the screen. Michael Kenny said, I think that picture of smoke dust distribution but zero fire shows the capability of a railgun. I believe you're right. We can hit several targets 20 to 30 miles apart with one projectile. Yeah, very, very effective weapon. Linda Chastain, thank you for the super chat. Hugh says, beginning of the end of the Royals was Trump's state visit. Yep, I believe you there. And then also Faithful Anon says, can't wait to see methods. Love you all. Where we go one, we go all. And then also Michael Kenny said, I wish the one world government was a good reason, like advancing human understanding, like space travel and educating us all on our species capabilities. But no, it's about control and exploitation. It is sad. Rusty Peterson, thanks for that super chat. Jake985J says, Trump is providing a moral ground as a baseline. That's right. Also, the criminals against children will be what unites everyone. I think that could very possibly be it. I mean, it's something that many, many people can get behind. All right, and then also Daniel Turgeon said, phoning right now, 639 prefix. Okay, going on to the next caller. And you guys, I want to apologize in advance to anybody that were unable to get on the show tonight, because we do have a lot of callers, more callers than normal. Coming up next is my good friend, Aaron. You're on the air with Craig and Red Pill. What's up, buddy?
Hello, Red Pill and Craig. Great to see you. Great show. And Craig, I'm going to go and watch a bunch of your videos. You sound like you are a very good source.
He is. He is a great source. Yeah, please.
And Red Pill, you're great too. I mean, you guys are great.
Appreciate that.
I saw Rudy's show. And
Okay.
It was great. It was great. And he just can't wait to give this information out. So I highly recommend watching all of them. He's going to be dropping real evidence. So that's good. I wanted to ask you if you heard anything about some of this disclosure that's happening now.
Are you talking about the man who who invented the ships and the warp drive and all that stuff for the Navy?
Oh, you're talking about William Tompkins, right?
No, not William Tompkins. There's a new guy. Hold on. Somebody,
Dr. Salvatore Pais.
Yes, Dr. Salvatore Pais.
Yes.
I've got an article right here on my phone, and this is something I'm going to be digging into for the shows this weekend. I'm going to see what I can do to get him on the show.
And on top of that, another disclosure, I think it was from an official government DOJ website, Department of Defense website. They've declassified Sky Dreadnought.
What is that?
Sky Dreadnought is a 3 football field long spaceship that was declassified because you know, Hillary Clinton said she was going to be the disclosure president. She kind of is, because her open door server let all of our SAP information over to China.
There you go.
Now they're racing to release this stuff, and that's why Salvador Pais is releasing these patents, so we don't have to pay China in order to run the things we already have.
Fascinating.
Space program. And so I think it's great. It's fantastic. It's finally happening.
Well, and I think that it's the timing is, you know, not coincidental at all. We have the new revelations about the Space Force. We have the new insignia for it released in the last 24 hours. The commonalities between that and Star Trek, I mean, it just gives me chills.
It's crazy. It's awesome. It's, you know, this was supposed to happen in '97, but it's kind of better now. So
I think so too.
Trump's Davos speech was brilliant.
Yes,
anyone who hasn't seen that, go watch that. Send it to all your friends. The Wile E. Coyote Trump tweet.
Yes, I saw that. Many people sent it to me.
Yeah, that's a great one. And you know, for the whistleblower, if he's going to testify, if they don't want to release his identity, maybe he could borrow the costume of the unknown comic from the Gong Show. Maybe.
Just wear a paper bag.
Maybe he could find, you know, get a hold of that. And
it'd be so easy.
Other than that, that's what I wanted to say. I know you got other callers.
All right, Aaron. Thanks for your call, buddy. I appreciate it. Thank you for watching as well.
You're welcome.
We'll talk to you soon, my friend.
Bye-bye.
All right, bye-bye. All right. Oop, I just, hold on. I just got everything went big. There we go. Okay. All right. So, yeah, Craig, any thoughts on the declassification of this, you know, clearly, you know, ships and different types of propulsion methods that will be used inevitably by Space Force?
I can't wait to see what it is. I'm woefully unprepared to talk about that, but I think, you know, if you would have told me this stuff a few years ago, to said, "Oh, that's crazy, that doesn't exist." But now it seems so obvious that they've got things that we have no idea about. And one thought of potential note, I don't know if it's of note or not, but I was looking at the Space Force logo. You know, I always look for numbers, and oftentimes our favorite non-signals the numbers. I noticed there was exactly 23 little stars in the logo, and you may recall that the password was exposed a long time ago. I think it was 519 of some year, 2018 or 2017, probably 2018. And it was "Here Comes the Pain" in -23. So there's the 23 connection. Yeah. And I don't know if that is significant or not, but it seems like it could be, but I just noticed that.
I think you're right on. All right, Carla, you're on the air with Craig and Red Pill. How are you?
Good. How are you, gentlemen?
Excellent. What's on your mind tonight?
I was thinking, we don't know how bad it may get before it gets better. And I've been thinking of some positive steps we can take. And I would like to suggest that people get to know their neighbors. I'm pretty much of a recluse, but I've started taking daily walks, and as a result, have met many of my neighbors. And if something bad were to happen, we could help each other and know each other and explain to each other what's going on, perhaps. And I've also read that raising oxygen levels in the body can fight many diseases. And one inexpensive way to do this is inhaling 3% food-grade hydrogen peroxide using a nasal spray container aimed at the mouth. And the coronavirus has inspired me to research natural cures for viruses, but I haven't had much luck. Maybe chlorine dioxide. Do you guys know of any?
I mean, I've heard of chlorine dioxide, and I know that they've had some anecdotal success with certain things, but you know, I mean, I will say, I wanted to make this point about the coronavirus earlier. The regular flu kills tens of thousands of people every year. And that's even with their vaccination programs. Coronavirus has, a handful, couple scores of confirmed deaths. And that's just what we've been told about. So I tend to think that this is going to be just another story that's meant to capture the national attention, take it away from the important stories, and make people afraid so that we probably don't end up talking to each other. Now, that's not to say that people shouldn't be careful, but I think it's going to be another bird flu. I think it's going to be another swine flu. Some people will inevitably get sick. Some people will inevitably die, but it just, when you compare it to the deaths that happen on a daily basis to everything that we're already exposed to, I really do think we're going to be fine.
I hope you're right.
Yeah. And I think you made an excellent point about getting to meet your neighbors. When I say be kind to people on Twitter, I also mean be kind to the people in your physical space as well, because we do need to be here for each other. So, Carla, any final thoughts that you want to make?
No, that's all I got.
All right. Thank you so much for your call. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah. We'll talk to you soon.
Okay.
All right. Any thoughts on that, Craig?
Yeah, as far as the disease stuff goes, the coronavirus, I think your analysis is probably right. I've heard all these things before. And I looked at the list of people who had died. It was all older people. Not to say that older people can't be healthy, but and as far as situations or ways to help the immune system, I don't know specifically, but my wife researches this stuff in depth, and a lot of the research now is showing that it's not just avoiding viruses. As Carla was saying, it's making the body prepared to deal with them. If you have an environment in which they can't survive, then they will not survive and you won't get sick. Also, the mind-body connection, the power of that is strong as well. I don't have a good resource to look into it. Maybe if my wife's watching, she can text me and I can say it before the end of the show. But I think that's an interesting rabbit hole to go down as well. And I think it's been working for me, what I've been doing as far as just trying to take things and keep my body healthy. As someone said earlier, avoid sugar, which I'm not that good at yet. But generally, I think the environment in which you keep your body helps avoid a lot of sickness.
And I absolutely
not medical advice.
Not medical advice, but yeah, look into it. Boopsh is on the air with us. What's up, my friend? How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Excellent. I'm glad you got in this time.
Yeah. I missed you by one call last time.
Awesome. Well, you are on the air with Craig and myself. So what's on your mind?
Well, I actually wrote a list, but being so late in the sequence of calls, Rudy podcast. Check mark. Somebody talked about it.
Good stuff.
Trump's speech at Davos. Quantum computing was one of my favorite parts about it.
Ooh.
Check, though. Coronavirus. You guys have already been talking about it. Check. See, I don't write lists normally, but I was pretty prepared this time. But you were referring to 23, the number of stars. Remember, 322 is skull and bones, right?
Yep.
Skull and bones with number. Gematria rule repeating. Get rid of the second 2. Invert that, mirror. Everything is like fighting 32.
Yep.
So 23 is fighting it. So that's why. But military comms via Twitter are out of control. It's very autistic. Check timestamps. Check everything. It's always something is going on there. And the KSA first was a big deal. Somebody mentioned the Royals. The Trump's visit, and now the Royals are collapsing.
Mm-hmm.
Remember, Trump visited the UK twice. He visited the Queen the second time. He met with Theresa May the first time. Where's Theresa May now?
Right? Gone.
She went out the door.
Yeah.
But then, remember, he also met with Mohammed bin Salman,
Mm-hmm.
and now Mohammed bin Salman overthrew the government. But then go back further. Let's look at Asia, right? North Korea. That's a whole solved problem now.
Mm-hmm.
And then he also, during his Asia trip, he went to Singapore, Hong Kong, etc., Vietnam. And yeah, Hong Kong is in uprising. France is freaking out right now.
Oh,
Macron, yeah, after he visited with Melania with her beautiful fashion accessories. And Iran, our favorite Anon always says, Iran is next. Maduro, a stubborn punk. That is a real. I've been talking about North Korea and Venezuela for probably 10 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, I predicted the dates pretty close, but we're good.
Good
But everything
stuff.
everything I knew was a lie, though, right?
Right. Well, you were
We
one of the
didn't know.
well-informed.
Well, I'm now, but I just basically, I had a whole list of stuff to talk about, but I don't want to rob time because there's so many people. But thank you guys very much for doing what you do. And M3 Thoughts, thumbs up, buddy.
All right, Knee Boobs, thanks for the call, brother. Call in next week, or actually, we'll be here tomorrow night and Sunday, so call in both nights.
Sure, we'll do.
All right, man. We'll talk to you soon.
Peace.
All right, awesome. See, I've been friends with that guy on Twitter for several years, since before I was Red Pill 78. So it's awesome to see him here in this venue. All right, coming up next is Liberty Thunder. Liberty Thunder, looks like you got to get your microphone on, and there it is. You're on the air, my friend. What can we talk about?
Hey, is this Red Pill?
This is Red Pill, and we've got Craig here too, my friend.
Hello.
Okay. Hey, Craig.
Hey.
This is Liberty Thunder, and I'm a proud member by paying on YouTube for your YouTube show there, Red Pill.
Thank you, my bud.
And love you guys. And Craig, I just found Craig through your show tonight, and I just subscribed to his YouTube channel.
Sweet.
Thank you.
And I look forward to listening to his shows. Also, I want to talk about either one of you know anything about this Canadian scientist that is now under investigation over this coronavirus thing.
No, I'm not aware. What tell us about it.
Well, there's an article. Let me see if I can find it. It's oops. There's an article that says that this lady was under investigation from July about this Ebola thing, and she was a Chinese educated woman who was affiliated with the Canadian government, working at this test lab also in China, and so somehow she's connected with Canada and or the Canadian government. And now she's under investigation, I think, over this corona thing. I think maybe she slipped it to the Chinese or something. I'm not sure.
That is fat. Can you send me the link to that article? Can you email it to me?
Yeah, what email address should I send?
redpill78@protonmail.com. And then that'll be something that I bring up on the show tomorrow. Good find, man. I'm doing some searching for it, and I can't find anything about it. It looks like there is a Canadian city that they are looking to lock down as a result of this, but nothing that I've seen so far. Awesome. Liberty Thunder, thanks for your support, brother. Thanks for calling in. You want a final thought before we move on to the last caller?
Yeah, just a thought. Is there something that in the United Nations treaty or something that we have that if there's a world outbreak of some sort of emergency, worldwide, state of emergency, international virus thing kind of going on that triggers some sort of power given to the United Nations over the nations themselves? Do y'all know of anything like that? I heard something like that before.
Any insight, Craig? I have not heard anything like that.
No, I don't, but I'm pretty sure that if there was something that had some alleged standing like that, Trump would make sure that the U.S. was not subverted to any kind of foreign influence that was deleterious to us.
Amen to that.
It'd be out of here. All right, Liberty Thunder, thank you for your call, brother, and I appreciate your support.
Thank you.
All right, talk to you soon. All right, we had a couple more people. Well, it looks like Abel's joined as a member as well. Thanks for that. I appreciate it. Ryan Anderson says, thanks, Red Pill. Keep it up. Michael Kenny said, I feel as if the corona is being used as a potential reason to postpone the election if impeachment fails. I mean, I suppose it could be, but I think it would be happening maybe closer to the election if that was going to happen. So hopefully that isn't the case. And then Q Revere says, love your work and agree the sky isn't falling with the corona, but thousands don't die from the flu every year. They combine flu with pneumonia and stopped verifying because it's more money than we think. Thousands, less than 20 each year die from influenza. All right, so I was going off of an inflated figure. All right, we've got one more caller, and that is going to be the Keystone Channel. My good friend, sister in arms, Keystone Channel, are you there? Let me see if I can unmute you. Hopefully she didn't. Hey, there she is.
There I am.
Oh, and there's your cat. Yes, we can hear you, and there's your cat too.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah, mute
it. So, wait, I muted, but now I hear nothing.
All right, hello, can you hear me?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah, thank you. Okay, yeah, my cat, he's just, he was just with me here, and I thought he's going to be like smack in the middle of the screen. So, I was actually a few things. TikTok mentioned something, and I was just thinking about this drop from Q about the sleepers being activated. And then I thought this could be also meant like the other way around. So as you probably have seen that Kim.com lately is all, you know, anti-Trump. And but then I thought about Elise. I don't know where she came from all of a sudden, but she is quite fierce. And I thought, you know, the sleepers may also be on the other side of, you know.
Yeah, no, I can definitely see that being a possibility. Craig, you got any thoughts on that?
Yeah, it certainly could be a possibility. And our favorite one has also said double meanings exist. So I would be almost surprised if that wasn't the case at sometimes.
Yeah, I subscribed to your channel just now.
Thank you.
There was another thing. So in the Netherlands, it's, by the way, 6 o'clock. I just figured that out. But
thanks for sticking around.
Yeah, you know me. So there is like non-stop impeachment crap on our media as well. And even the virus, the coronavirus, doesn't, you know, overshadow it.
Really?
It's just Trump, you know, everywhere. So Americans know there's no difference with the media here. And back to the ego thing, it's such a synchronicity that you started about this, because I've noticed the exact same thing this week everywhere. Like either people are going completely like in sync and being peaceful with each other and trying to, you know, calm everybody down, or there is this other part that is completely conflating in ego. Now, 5 days ago, I made a video, and that exploded all of a sudden. I've got like 500 subscribers now, which obviously to you is nothing, but for me, I just started, right? And because I tried to bridge all patriots together and pointing these things out about ego and about the spiritual side, about how we should actually come together, you know. And so that exploded, and it was also about red pilling, and that was such a positive reaction to it. And that's when I saw this week happening these ego things that you were talking about. And I found it kind of interesting, because the week before that there was something else that everybody apparently was doing. You know, we had and I don't know, do you guys have this same thing, that you see all these synchronicities either within the movement or, you know, worldwide between people happening, that you either all on the same page and then there is this one disruption, or, you know what I mean?
I absolutely do. Craig, I want to get your thoughts on that.
Yeah, it seems like there's kind of a coalescence of a lot of different perspectives that are kind of not exactly talking about the same thing, but kind of getting on the same page. My wife was just saying to me the other day about how, do you think it's funny how you and, you know, some of my friends back that I grew up with back in my hometown near Chicago, and their parents, who we all used to bicker about, oh, Ron Paul and Mitt Romney and all these things, and bringing in I have another friend who has a channel, the channel is Our Everyday Lives, who he knows about Q. He doesn't talk about Q, but he tells me all the time, we're talking about the same thing. And you know, you said synchronicities. It's all, we're getting on the same page. We're uniting like never before, and all of these different factions and fractals of humanity are coming together. It's amazing. I see exactly what you're saying, I think.
I know, but and like the biblical thing would, like, it's going to be biblical. Now, I because I'm a foreigner and I have many like worldwide patriots I try to collect, because obviously that's the whole point. And this is where I see these things happening in every country. I see it happening worldwide. So not only between American patriots, but like worldwide. My own country is doing these same things are happening. It's amazing. It's almost like 2020 happened, and a switch went off. Where
the Great Awakening.
Well, yeah, exactly that. But serious, I'm so amazed by it. I'm just, and another thing, I just feel this tweet coming from Trump soon. The storm. You know, I just feel it coming. I hear you guys just talks about it as well, and I'm like, there we go again. You know, another synchronicity, and it's amazing how that, you know, how that works. It's so clear.
It happens in a positive way, and it happens in a negative way. I think when we see it happening in a negative way, it's clearly controlled to try to stop whatever progress we've made, you know, from continuing on. And because this is a global movement, you know, we're seeing, you know, things are popping off in every single country, in, you know, not only the Western world, but also in other places. And as a result, they need to try to throw as many monkey wrenches into the system as possible, so that they can, you know, try to hold on to their power, whatever they've got. Well, listen, Keystone Channel, we're over the time. So I just want to say thanks for your call. I really appreciate it. Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you all. And I'm glad to have been here again till 6 o'clock, but I don't care. Oh, subscribe to my channel, people, and just unite. Come on, let's do this.
Beautiful.
We can do this.
All right. Keystone Channel on YouTube.
Good to meet you.
Yep.
Pleasure speaking with you again. Thanks for staying up.
Oh, that's all fine. I'm a night person anyway.
All right. Cool.
So,
have a great night.
Good night, all.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
All right. You know, thank you to everybody who was here tonight. Craig, thank you for coming on the show. I do need to say thank you to Haterproof as well. #QuantumAI, #truth = #love. That's right. And thank you to everyone for participating in such a constructive and reasonable conversation tonight. I really do appreciate it more than you guys know. Thank you, and I do apologize to everybody that we did not get to on the calls. Thank you for your patience, everybody. Please do come back tomorrow for another fascinating program. I'm just trying to get to my notes so I can tell you who is going to be here tomorrow. Oh wait, we're already on a different day, and so tomorrow is going to be John D'Souza. You guys, I forgot about, how could I forget about that? John D'Souza is a former FBI agent who was the subject of interest for the creation of the X-Files. He ran the paranormal division at the FBI, and he's going to be here talking about his experiences and things in that realm. So don't miss that tomorrow. If you have not yet subscribed to Craig Mason or followed him on Twitter, please, you guys, consider doing that, or don't even think about it. Just go and hit that button, because Craig is an incredible guy. I love your content, Craig. I love having you here on the show. Every single time you're here, it's a wonderful, wonderful time.
Thanks, man. It's been a pleasure to be here. I love what you're doing. I'm so honored to be here with everybody watching, and to be able to do this. It is so fun and exciting. It's such an exciting time to be alive. Thank you to everyone that was here. I saw a lot of familiar names from the normal chat, and it's also shout out to Methods. You've been missed, man. You've been missed big time. So it's great to have you back, and thanks, Red Pill. I love what you're doing. I love what everyone in this movement is doing. You all are truly the news now.
Excellent. And so are you, my friend. Thank you again to Methods, of course. We're so glad to have you back. Craig's YouTube is in the description of this video below, but I will go ahead and throw it back into the chat. Thank you especially to my mods also for being here every weekend and for helping out with the conversation. Love you, Mom. Love you to my real red pill girlfriend. And I love all of the people who hang out with us every Friday and Saturday night. So as always, this has been Red Pill 78. I am the Corruption Detector, and this was your Red Pill News for Friday Night Livestream. Good luck, everyone, and God bless.